It's been quite some time since I really just played a game and enjoyed it instead of sitting there wondering when it would be over or questioning when the checkpoint would come or when the credits would roll. Well, Devil May Cry 5 delivers in the sense of it's the most video game I've played in a hot minute. Most of these big budget games I played over the years I just hated or I felt indifferent towards, with one leaning towards the latter. I can recognize a game for just being good and just not liking it, but it's not been that way for quite a few of them. Looking at you, Red Dead 2, you were just awful. Uh, you start this game just immediately at a boss fight. That's great. So it just throws you into the action. It's the numbered entries in the series that is made for the fans of the series. You know, if you ended with 4 and you didn't like DMC and you came back to this, you'd probably really enjoy it. This game does not cater to the common denominator trying to get those extra sales by changing the numbered entry in the series. Looking at you, Witcher 3, Arkham Knight, God of War 2018, Darksiders 3. Please note that all those games are okay, but in the sense that they changed direction or they did something in comparison to the past games to try and grab a bigger audience and stuff they didn't need to capitalize, to try to capitalize on a bigger gaming trend, Battle Royale. Anyway, you start this game off immediately in a boss fight. I'm guessing picking up from some kind of epilogue off of 4 or the anime, which I did watch. New and old characters are introduced and you're thrown into the fray of it all. You know, you got 3 main characters who play throughout the game: Dante, Nero, and V. V is the new character of 5. His origins are explained later in the game in a very anime way that if you watched really any kind of anime, you would have seen coming from a mile away. He's definitely the easiest character to use in comparison to Dante and Nero. Easy in the sense you can get, triple S ranks just by button mash. You can smack the controller on your ass and still get triple S ranks with this guy. It's pretty crazy how easy he is to use. I guess this is their way of trying to grab new fans because people complained about the difficulty of these games and the combos, how difficult they'll remember in the past. I don't know. He's not really that interesting of a character story-wise. Just kind of a moody Kylo Ren, Chris Angel mind freak type that reads a poetry book and wears black leather and just kind of broods around. He's okay, I guess. And Dante, he's always been a parody character for me, so he was kind of hard to get invested to in this game, even though it's a lot more. There's more mature elements and stuff story-wise. Gameplay-wise, he's definitely the best and most fleshed out. I mean, the guy's got 4 or 5 different gun and melee weapons, various stances for each, various combos for each. You know, using a motorcycle sword and then switching to nunchucks and then flipping him up in there with a shotgun will always be it. I called Chief on that one. He has confirmed it. Nero's probably the best and most fleshed out story-wise. You know, you're actually paying attention to what this guy's doing. You're actually paying attention to the things he cares about, how he's affected by things. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said about his gameplay. Per the opening events of the game, he loses an arm against a substitute Robot 1. However, most of his combat and moves are one-armed, despite having this robot hand, because it works as a secondary instead of with your sword, which they could have learned from that. But it really hurts the game, in my opinion. He's got very clunky combos and controls. Would have been nice to have the inclusion of more, since he was in the past game. He was in the last game, Devil May Cry 4, so you would think that would have carried over. I guess not. All the side characters, like Trish, Lady, Demon King, Nico, I mean, they're okay. They're not awful, but the fact that they're just kind of there as these substitute characters, you don't really spend that much time with them. They're on screen. They do something funny. They say something funny. You know, Nico's the weapons person. You go to her. She's bending over. She's got a lot of tattoos, a funny accent. But they just don't do enough, in my opinion. It would have been nice if they fleshed these people out more, let you play as them. You know, the villains, you fight the same villain like 4 times, but you know nothing about him. Because he's just there as that opposing enemy threat. Here I am, look at me, and then they do nothing with him. As far as plot in this series goes, this is definitely the most straightforward, easy to understand game. It's decent enough. It's not amazing. It's not as over the top as some of the last ones, but it's not so dull and mundane. It hits the right mark. Scoring this game's hit or miss. It's not that bad. Just because I'm not a fan of hardcore death metal in real life, so the constant use of it, yes, I know it's a staple of the series, wears its welcome very quickly. Nero's music is probably the best, as it's just super run-of-the-mill techno music. Voice acting itself is done well enough. The dialogue's pretty, you know, what you'd expect from the game. Just like the Resident Evil series, over the top, take it as you will. It's made like that on purpose, so give them props for that. It's very campy. Definitely an acquired taste. They did knock this game out of the park in the graphics department, though, with the same Resident Evil 7 engine that made Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 7, and this game pop. I mean, you got glimmers and shadows and weather effects and all sorts of crazy shit going on. Everything looks just right. You got dark corridors, blood-soaked walls, enemies look appropriately scary with tendons and muscles popping out and ripping. Praise definitely goes towards the character models, enemy models, small details like the butt end of a cigar lighting up during a cutscene. Really bring a character shaking the blood off of a certain article of clothing, Dante's hair on his chin showing his age. That's top tier stuff. Combat's accessible and satisfying for veteran fans and newcomers. Definitely feels a lot easier than the past games. I've been playing this series since 2 or 3, I can't really remember, but it does its job. Overall, the main praise of the game is that it's just a game. It's just fucking fun, right in your face fun. I mean, there's no ridiculous padding like find all the towers, liberate the outpost, stupid missions like follow the man without getting seen or collect a number of things to get the other thing. It's just straight, simple, to the point. Room full of enemies. Get rid of them. We have a cool boss fight. Get that high score. 9 out of 10.